Hey, welcome back everybody to my channel. Just wanted to talk about something a little bit different today from my other reviews. Something actually pretty important to me, and maybe some of you guys have heard online already, and read somewhere that Pebble is no longer. They got bought out by Fitbit, and they basically dismantled the whole company. And I think some of the servers are still up and running, but who knows how long those are going to last. Here in 6 months to a year, but a lot of the functionality and the support and everything else is basically going to start go out the window pretty soon. So I'm actually very disappointed by that. This was one of the this is it's kind of funny because I always saw smartwatches as something kind of like silly, a little techie. It's like, what's the point of it? And I kind of fought it a little bit, even though I am a technology kind of guy. I do work in the wireless industry, and I know a lot about phones. I know a lot about software and apps and operating systems and things like that. And but I fought it for a little while. I saw people with Motorola's and a few other brands out there, and I didn't get it. And even before I bought my first Pebble, I was looking at a bunch of different watches, and just nothing really like sat right with me. The battery life wasn't great on a lot of them. They were fidgety. You had to shake them to get the screens to turn on. Just a lot of things that just you know I don't know. It just nothing really sat well with me. And then when I did find out a little bit more about the Pebble, I looked online. Biggest thing that drew me to it was there was a small company, did really well on Kickstarter, got a lot of that going. It was kind of like rooting for the little guy. And after a few exchanges and returns at Best Buy, I ended up getting my first Pebble a while back, and it was just phenomenal. And then I got the Pebble Steel, which I really liked because I like metal bands. And then this is the Pebble Time. I know there's a newer version, but this is the one that I had. Actually, I had the regular Pebble Time, and then this is the Pebble Time Steel. And I don't know, it's just something about them was just great. Maybe I'm a little old school, but I love having the buttons. And this goes back, that selects, goes up and down. You can toggle, and I like that the screen, even in straight head-on light, you can still see it really well. So even outside in the sunlight, you can see it really well, which is awesome. It's nice and lightweight, and it was a watch that gave you about 7 days battery life. And with a lot of watches out there, kind of going kapooey after a day and a half, that was something that I was really amazed, and something that I just became very used to. I'm the kind of guy that always wears a watch, and I don't like taking them off all the time. Um, I do shower with them usually, sleep with them usually, things like that. And this watch like really honestly offered everything that I wanted, and kept it really simple. Obviously there's no touchscreen, but it worked really well. Anytime I wanted to know the time, I didn't have to wiggle it or do anything, and it just worked. It really stayed out of my way. If I wanted to view a notification, it was very easy to look at it. This one has the microphone option, so it's very easy to reply or use some of the shortcuts that were in there. So it just honestly became a part of my attire or apparel that I never really questioned or really thought much of, because it just fit. It just worked great. So when I heard the news, it was just I don't know. I'm at that spot where I have to look for an alternative, because this really isn't gonna work or do much in another 6 months or so. And seeing what's out there in the market, there really isn't a lot going on. I know there's other smaller companies that are doing things. Vector was one of the watches that I was very interested in. It's priced a little bit higher for sure. But I actually just heard news yesterday that Fitbit ended up buying them as well. So probably should stay away from that one. Android Wear has been doing not so great recently. I know Motorola and a couple other brands did not come out with a watch, even though they probably could have for the holidays. And even going into Best Buy, I'm seeing more, what do you call it, fitness watches and fitness bands than the regular smartwatches than before. So Android Wear needs to mature. They need to make it a little bit less fiddly with the touchscreen, and I don't know. And then Samsung's doing some decent stuff with the Gear S2, Gear S3, which is pretty cool. I actually have a Gear S2 Classic right now, but I am going to return it. I think I'm going to hold out a little bit longer because it still cuts a few corners on the things that I'm used to doing on here. And the battery life is one thing that still bugs me, and I don't know why. I mean, I think I've been very spoiled with what Pebble's been doing. The nice wireless charging port on the back here, and just I don't know. And then there's I don't know. I mean, Fitbit has the Blaze. There's a few other options out there that seem interesting, but nothing's really catching my eye, and I'm very disappointed and just sad in general about this whole thing because Pebble really did really well with their operating system, made it very easy to use, made it very user friendly. They had a bunch of different styles. They had like a round one that you could get. They had like plastic versions, metal versions. They had a pretty good variety, and they felt like they had something good going. But obviously, with profits and not selling as much, or maybe selling too much and not actually having the income to produce as much as you could, I think over time they were, overstepped their budgets there and kind of got themselves in trouble. So it happens, but now we're all stuck trying to figure out what to do because the Apple Watch has nothing on this. It's a completely different kind of product. Android Wear is nice, but there's a lot of features that are above and beyond what the casual watch user uses. I'm more of a notification watch kind of guy. I did get the Martian notifier. It seems pretty interesting. It's only about $35 on Amazon. For somebody who's never had a smartwatch before, the Martian might be a decent entry level, but still, I mean, it's nothing fancy, and it doesn't really do all that much other than notify you and have a face. So I don't know. I'm stuck at a crossroads now, trying to figure out what I want to do. Hopefully, there is another watch that brings what's already out there closer to what Pebble's been able to do. And who knows, maybe Fitbit comes out with another watch better than the Blaze. That's a little bit more everyday use kind of thing and not so much of a fitness tracker. So I don't know. It's very disappointing. But I don't know. Feel free to post on under here under the video. I'm curious to see if you found any good alternatives, or if you heard of anything, or if you've seen any other reviews on any other watches that might, fit that nice gap, that nice area where the Pebble stood. Definitely curious to see if anybody comes up with anything good, and hopefully Fitbit doesn't keep buying all these small companies that are really trying to, stand out in their own little segment there. So. Anybody who is a Pebble fan, I'm sure you're feeling the same way that I'm feeling. Let's see what happens. And although Pebble might never come out ever again, hopefully some of the OS or some of the feel or some of the technology or familiarity, hopefully that reappears in the future. Because we're definitely losing a really good brand and a really good product. Thank you.